Welcome to another In Wheel Time podcast, a 30-minute mini version of the In Wheel Time car show that airs live every Saturday morning, 8 to 11 a.m. Central. Podcasting and streaming from the Sugar Shack Studios in Texas, USA. It's the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Just ahead, Kevin Fitzpatrick on diagnostic software to help you reduce your car costs. This ought to be good. You'll hear my thoughts on a week with the 2024 Cadillac Escalade. You may know it as the Escalade. And what folks from the other side of the tracks get to experience in the world of super luxury SUVs. And we have today's news headlines, among other things. So we got lots to get to today on our live broadcast. Howdy, along with Mike, Out of This World Mars, King Conrad DeLong. We always need more Jeff Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong. Thanks so much for joining us on this Saturday morning. It is a bit chilly out there, and I want to remind everybody that next week at this time, we'll be broadcasting, well, not at this time, because we're going to have a delayed start to our broadcast next week to coincide with the opening of the Houston Automotive Show on Saturday. So instead of being with you at 8 o'clock in the morning, we'll be with you at 10 o'clock in the morning. Still the same 3-hour show, just a little bit delayed.
Time delayed,
yeah, on purpose. So, at any rate, and if you haven't heard, Automotive Show opens Wednesday at 11 a.m., Wednesday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 8 p.m., Saturday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m., and Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. It's the Houston Automotive Show at NRG Center. It's the yearly new car show, if you will, along with boats.
Yeah.
I'm really not a boat guy. I did own a boat at one time, and as they say, yes, it is a hole in the water that you pour money into, and it never stops. It's much worse than a car.
I had 3 boats.
Yeah, at the same time?
No. Over my life, I've had 3 of them that I actually owned, and I have to concur with you.
Did you ever go on a 3-hour tour?
I almost sunk once, yes.
And his name was Gilligan.
No.
But at any rate.
I had a catamaran.
Did you really?
Yep.
In New York?
No, this is in Oklahoma.
In Oklahoma?
There's no water in Oklahoma.
No, there's lots of lakes in Oklahoma. But
yeah, there really is.
Yeah, they're all dried up now.
No, we used to go down to Lake Texoma.
Oh,
and,
Texoma?
Right on the Texas border.
Texas-Oklahoma border.
Okay, well, there you go.
That's where the name comes from.
I guess so. Well, I don't visit the parts. You know, that's kind of home of the Dallas Cowboys. Have you seen all of the hate and funny stuff
hilarious.
on Facebook about that?
I like the interview where Jerry Jones is crying.
Do you know that the Green Bay Packers have won more
in that
playoff
stadium,
games in that stadium
than the Cowboys have? By like 2, I think.
Well, at any rate, so we've had our laugh for the morning.
I feel kind of bad for him, because
I don't.
And this afternoon at 3:30, the Houston Texans play the Baltimore Ravens.
Go Texans.
Yeah, buddy.
So we're kind of looking forward to that. All right. Now that we've got that out of the way, let's go over to our Zoom call this morning. Kevin Fitzpatrick with Opus IVS. Kevin, good morning to you. It's good to see you, my friend.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. And Kevin, first of all, what is Opus IVS?
Opus IVS, we're a diagnostic and scanning company, so we're working within the mechanical and the collision side of the business. So we're providing technicians with both vehicle tools, rather, to diagnose vehicles on the mechanical side, and also technical support. So we maintain a number of technical support centers across the U.S. with about 100 master technicians, and we're engaging those technicians with these repair shops in order to diagnose vehicles, because these things are so complex today that most technicians need that additional resource in order to get to the fix reasonably quickly.
Well, all I can think of is you must have a staff that's constantly working on your program, because every new car is different in its own way.
That's exactly it. We're always hiring, we're always bringing in new talent, but we're also always sending our guys back for training. It's a constant battle to stay on top of this stuff.
How can diagnostic software help us save money?
Well, because honestly, again, when these cars were I'm going to say less intelligent, the technician had a real challenge, chasing all this stuff down. They needed, in fact, more tools. They were, on top of vacuum and dialing into basic engine. These cars are highly intuitive right now. We're talking about adding additional digits now to trouble codes, because there's literally a code for everything. So when you drive a vehicle, it's going to give a technician a direction to go in, really. So, they're getting smarter.
Well, I have to tell you, so my 2001 Corvette, I guess in 2001 it was the latest state of the art when it comes to all of the computer stuff that's
Back
in it.
then it was, yeah.
Back then. But today, obviously, things have advanced.
It's dumb as a box of rocks.
Yeah, pretty much. But it still can't run without its computer.
Oh, true.
So there is that. And I've actually kind of been just thinking about it. And, that always gets me in trouble when I think. Wow. I don't even know if you call that
that's
anymore.
What we smell.
Yeah, that's right. The brain
burning acidic odor.
Yeah. I've been thinking, I don't think that thing has ever been on a dynamometer. I don't know as if it's ever had.
You don't think Greg ever had that on a dyno?
I don't think so. And I would like to, at some point, maybe in the next year, if I stop buying other stuff for it, that I put it on a dyno and have a dyno tune. What is a dyno tune?
A dyno tune actually is going to gauge the rear wheel horsepower or the actual wheel horsepower of the vehicle. So, and if you're talking about a GM, and especially with an LS engine, these things are you can tune them. You can tune them by changing the pulse width to the injectors as it relates to the air coming in, and you can get more horsepower out of them. So a lot of guys are tuning these things. You have to be careful though with your state laws, because a lot of times you're putting yourself in jeopardy when you go for your state inspection, because oftentimes you won't pass post-tune.
Yeah, well, so I don't want to go that far with it. Do I have to buy a quote unquote chip to put in it to do a special tune?
In some cases, yes. In other cases, no. But on the earlier vehicles, yeah, you do.
Okay, so I may have to buy a chip. What were you going to say?
No, I was going to ask him. So you go out and you get a dyno and you get it tuned and everything. Now it comes to a shop. Now a shop, how are they going to deal with trying to repair his vehicle that has a special dyno tune on it?
Well, it depends on the issue. If it's coming in for anything else, again, I'm one of the core companies that is Opus IVS. We used to specifically tune BMW vehicles, so we used to build performance tunes. It was actually invisible to any other technician working on it. If you were really good, you could see that we were kind of manipulating, the on time of the injector versus certain other parameters in the engine. But it would be almost impossible for anybody to see other than BMW.
Okay. Interesting.
And a lot of repair shops, they don't do a lot of PCM reprogramming unless the code relates to a required PCM reprogram. So you shouldn't lose your tune just because it goes in the shop for a drivability complaint. 9 times out of 10, a drivability complaint is going to be built around an injector, a sensor, or a coil, or an ignition component. Rarely is the repair reprogramming the computer.
Gotcha.
And another question, you said you work on the collision side of things. Do you do the recalibration for all of the cameras and sensors on cars?
We do. We handle a lot of that stuff. We've actually gotten really good at it. We sell a trihedral kit, so we're able to work with technicians remotely. Because remember, we have all of these technicians in remote call centers, so we work with the technicians on the placement of the trihedrals, and then we're able to put the vehicle into a calibration mode and actually make sure that it's accepting the calibration, and that all of the sensors are working properly.
Yeah, because that's become something required anymore. You put a windshield in, you move a front bumper fascia, even if they take it off for something else, now all of a sudden all those recalibrations are required on the vehicle.
And the car doesn't automatically reboot itself and fix itself.
Correct. No, it's you've got to on the windshield and the cameras. It's kind of like target practice. They'll place out some targets and stuff that it has to see at certain distances.
Interesting.
And it has to get all that calibration done correctly, or the system doesn't work, or it starts turning on check engine lights.
Do you have any opportunity to do EVs with any electrical diagnostics?
Yeah, we do actually. I mean, we do some of it. I mean, it was kind of tricky for us in the beginning because when we're remoting our support services, we require the shop or the technician that we're talking to on the other end of the phone to have at least some degree of training, at least an 8-hour course on safety, because the last thing we want to do is be putting somebody, in proximity to an EV. Because I mean, you can get hurt, you can get killed working on one of these vehicles if you don't understand the safety precautions that need to be adhered to.
Yeah, and all of the manufacturers offer that. Basically, it is an 8-hour safety course to make sure that they understand that. First off, is you have to protect the area you're working in, as well as you have to wear a specific set of gloves. Those gloves either have to get tested every so often or replaced every so often so that the electricity doesn't pass through it. Otherwise, you become toast.
That's exactly it. And just real quick, going back to the ADAS question, it's an industry issue right now where if a vehicle goes into a repair shop, and this is a pretty common repair, your vehicle's in the parking lot, somebody smacks your side view mirror. Some of the sensors are in that side view mirror. So if they go into the average repair shop, that side view mirror gets replaced. Now the customer's driving the car. The recalibration hasn't been performed on the vehicle, right? There's not going to be a check engine light to tell, or a light on the dashboard to tell a customer that vehicle is out of calibration. It is going to act differently. Now, in the case of a dynamic calibration, as the customer drives, it's going to start learning. It's going to use its other sensors, and it's going to start learning over time. But initially, as that customer is driving that vehicle, lane departure and everything else, side impact. It's gonna take a little while for that car to start acting the way it was before the customer had the issue with this side view mirror.
Kevin, does your system there at Opus IVS, is it capable of turning off the lane departure? That's the most annoying thing I have ever dealt with. And now I'm driving cars that if you turn it off, it's got a yellow light in the dashboard that says you've turned it off. I know I turned it off. I turned it off on purpose.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, yeah, we replicate factory functionality, so you can do it. And a lot of these things are you can tailor it, because some of the stuff some customers want, some don't. Some want it to beep. Some just want a light on the side view mirror. So a lot of these systems are configurable. So, yeah, if we replicate factory functionality. So, yeah, it depends on the driver. By the way, in my wife and my daughter's car, I mean, I have more bells and whistles in these things. I mean, yeah, I want it all on. Just sort of.
Yeah, for them. I don't want it on for me.
But can a customer, Don comes in there and says, I want you to turn my lane departure warning off. Can you, right. I know physically you can do it, but from a shop business perspective, legally, can you do that?
Negative. No, you can't turn it off completely. But what you can do is you can figure, like I said, like sounds. And, I just want the light on. Or I want the audible piece off. The safety systems are there for a reason. And as a shop, you don't want to be the guy to turn it off, because God forbid there is an issue with the vehicle. Right?
That's what I was thinking. You turn it off, they go get in a wreck, and who are they coming to?
I'm thinking a good pair of side cutters will do just fine. I'll get under there and find that dang thing.
Yeah, one of the things Don does like is the haptic seat. He likes that vibrating seat when something goes wrong.
Yeah.
And by the way, there is precedent on exactly what you're mentioning. I mean, they are going back to some of these shops. I mean, somebody rewires a seat mat for a passenger occupancy, and they don't do it properly. So there's a child in the front seat, and that airbag actually deploys or does not deploy. They're going back to the shop that did that. There is precedent on exactly that. So you need to be careful. You always have to be careful of what you're doing on a vehicle, whether or not you want to get involved. And if you go to save a customer a few bucks by fixing something that probably should be replaced, you have to think twice.
Well, yeah, also the old days of, my wife ripped the mirror off backing out of the garage are gone, because you can't just go to the salvage yard and buy a new mirror and put it on. You can go to a salvage yard and buy a new mirror, but it's going to take you $200-$300 to get it all recalibrated, right, so that the car knows that the mirror is there and all of the safety systems are re-engaged, just because she clipped it on the garage on the way out. That's
the days of buying the replacement glass down at your local, Advanced Auto Parts, and gluing the mirror back into the mirror shell, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, I guess you can't do that anymore.
Nope.
No. You go to Walmart, get a hand mirror, and you stick it.
It's got the handle sticking out.
Yeah.
The handle,
well, you could adjust it.
That's right. You can adjust it
and turn it over for the objects in the mirror are closer than they
appear.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So let's talk just for a second, Kevin, and talk about what car insurance companies give you to get your discount. That basically it's a little spy computer that you plug into your car.
Yeah, okay, so let's talk about that. I'm going to be very, very careful here because I like to be friends with everybody, insurance, including insurance company. So you put this thing into your car, and they say, "Hey, we're going to give you a discount if you put this thing in your car for safe drivers," right?
Yeah.
But what if you're not a safe driver, right? Or what if you're the guy, right, that goes, you know what I mean? You like to every day you're trying to set the world record for the speed trials and getting to work, right? I'm pretty sure, and I don't have any data to back this up, but what I'm pretty sure is what they're not telling you is if you're not a safe driver, right? If you're out there setting speed trials every day, that there might be a different result than the one you're looking for, right?
Yeah. Do it. So if you do that, you make that mistake, and you're doing 85 on the tollway every stinking morning. They go, "We're going to cut you off. We don't want to have your business any longer." Right. Do the insurance companies talk to each other? Do they go, "This guy, we cut him off because he's doing 85 on the way to work every day"?
It's like casinos.
Yeah, I think, listen, your record follows you everywhere, right? I mean, they used to have, when I was a kid, I did wind up, I mean, like I said, like most of us, when we're especially young men, and I'm certainly not being misogynistic, but there's a reason why young men under 25 pay higher rates for their insurance, right? Because we can't wait to get our licenses, and there's a reason why, right? We want to, we all love the Dukes of Hazzard. We want to see exactly what this car is capable of.
and we're fearless. We don't know what we don't know. So let's
right, exactly. We want to take every vehicle and test the limits of the vehicle, and then they're cognizant of it. One thing they're always looking for, by the way, with these devices is your braking, right? Are you always braking? You know what I mean? Are you going from 100 to 0? And is that a regular occurrence for you, right? So.
Yeah, like you're following too close. But I was thinking, I mean, that's kind of obvious, you can't argue with that too much. But I was thinking more about freeway entrance ramps.
Mike.
Of course you were.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean,
Mike,
whose choice is it to say
Mike
you're
gets
speeding?
a new car to drive every week, a different one out of the press fleet. And part of what Mike does, not me, he does this freeway entrance ramp test to see, the acceleration and
well, you got to merge. You got to check out the merge
G-forces,
capability.
that sort of stuff.
The on-ramp acceleration test.
How sticky are those tires?
Yeah, exactly. Trust me, they, the people they want putting these devices in the car, the guy they're looking for, again, cards on the table. The guy they're looking for is the guy that's pissing everybody else off.
Oh, that guy.
We know one. There he is right there.
So
exactly.
are the devices they're putting on the vehicle, is it an ALDL plug-in, which is the diagnostic connector plug-in, or is it a combination of an ALDL plug-in and a GPS sensor so they can measure time, distance, and speed?
I can't speak specifically about the GPS piece, but it does plug directly into the 16 pin connector, and they're pulling, I'm not sure what their terms and conditions say, but they're pulling all sorts of information.
There's all sorts of information there for them to pull.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and let me just give you maybe this would be a good a sales thing for you, and you could start selling part of your services to the insurance company since you're plugging into the same thing.
Well, let's be honest, okay? I mean, and let's not be naive about what's really going on in the world, right? Every one of us, when we're driving, we have a device either in our pocket or sitting on the passenger next to us. That cell phone is picking up all the same data. It knows how fast you're going. It knows exactly where you're going, how fast it took you to get from point A to point B. And all of that data is being sold and marketed. So
Siri has everything.
And it knows what you're saying sometimes because it's, oh, my God, here, hold my beer. You haven't seen anything yet.
So all I can think of is that from now on, turn your cell phone off when you get in the car.
Yeah, well, I mean, and that's the thing. So whether or not you're plugging in something to your ALDL or not, or you have the cell phone, all that information is readily available. We've all clicked past. We've all clicked past these. Yeah, I agree. Like I said, all of that data is readily available.
And OnStar has been collecting that data for years.
That's correct. And like I said, and if you ask me what all of these, again, how much of my data is for sale, what are they picking up, what are they collecting? There's no such thing as a free lunch. Download a free game. What you're giving away then online is astounding.
Exactly.
That's a scary thing, really, if you stop and think about it. And all these press cars, all the brand new press cars that we drive, they know how fast we're going.
Yes, they do.
And it says on there, we are downloading all this stuff. So,
yeah, let's slow it down. Kevin, we always enjoy talking to you. It's a real pleasure. Opus IVS, and if you want more information, I assume that you have a website that people can get it.
OpusIVS.com. Yeah, we just launched a new one, so please come in, take a look. And again, I always appreciate talking to you guys, so thank you again for having me.
You stay warm up there.
Thank you again, guys. Bye-bye now.
Thank you. Kevin Fitzpatrick. A great guy. I love talking to him.
Something new every day.
I know it. If you stop and think about it, and he's so true, this cell phone knows everything.
Could be dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just try not to think about it. That Alexa is everywhere with you. Alexa or Siri 1.
Well,
it's kind of like your wife. They know all kinds of things. You don't know that they know, but they know.
They know.
Yeah, I don't want them to know, but yeah.
Okay. Time now for this hour's car review. Had a chance to drive the all-new 2024 Cadillac Escalade. I like to call it the Escalade because I'm me. Mm-hmm. That's the only reason why. Available trim levels. And I was kind of surprised at this. I did not know this. Comes in luxury, premium luxury, sport, premium luxury platinum, sport platinum, and V.
Yeah.
That's the high horsepower supercharged motor in that thing.
Betcha.
I had the four-wheel drive platinum. Okay? Standard SUV is what the government labels it as. I call it Mr. Big.
Yeah, the big honking horse.
It is huge. How many passengers? 7 or 8, depending on how you configure.
How you slice them.
On how you configure the second row seat. Is it going to be a bench, or are you going to have the buckets? Perfect. I prefer the buckets. Mm-hmm. Exterior changes from last model year. All new in 2021. Oh, there's a tweak here, a tweak there to make it a little bit different and charge you a little bit more money, or a lot more money, whatever the case may be. Exterior features. This is a great big rectangle in the shape of a four-wheel drive passenger vehicle. It's big, man. If you set these body styles, the new body styles, this one came out in 2021, you set it up next to a 10-year-old, 15-year-old Suburban, you're going to go, oh my gosh, I had no clue how it's grown.
Mm-hmm.
It is swelled up to enormous sizes. Big grill opening with those squinty headlights, and it looks good. That front end is very distinctive, very Cadillac-y. Extra tall tail lights that reach the roof, all the way up to the roof, those rear tail lights. Interesting. Wheels and trim change with the trim level that you purchase. That's how they kind of distinguish themselves amongst all of them. As I told you, there are lots of trim levels available for you. What I liked, distinctively large vehicle with unique Cadillac styling cues. What could use improvement? I would say make the design more lyric-like. That if I were just to throw something out there,
I agree.
I would say, because that lyric,
It's beautiful. And it's not as the lyric's not as angular. It seems like they've kind of smoothed it out a little bit, but
Streamlined.
that angular thing has been a Cadillac style for a number of years. That's a design concept that they've stayed with.
Yeah, and it's done them well,
and they've kept it on the Escalade.
Yeah, compare Cadillac with Lincoln,
Right.
Because those were the two main U.S. players. Well, Lincoln, what do they got? 3 old school designs,
And the Cadillac style does vary significantly from the sister vehicles of the Chevy and GMC. The Cadillac, you can tell that's a Cadillac coming down the highway.
no doubt about it. Yeah, absolutely. Interior highlights: layered instrument screen. In front of an infotainment screen is the actual instrumentation for the car. A faux wood trim that looks real with accessory controls around the driver, rich leather surfaces and massaging, comfortable seating, tons of powered connections throughout the cabin. Cargo trunk room, massive, with the third row seating folded down. What I liked, the handiness of its size. Next size up would be a school bus. What would use improvement? Kitchen sink, perhaps. Maybe throw that in there. Turn signal indicator in the HUD, the head-up display. It is not in there. So if you use the turn signal and you got the head-up display on, you ain't going to see the turn signal in there. Just a little something. 6.2-liter V8 gasoline engine, 420 horsepower, 460 pound-feet of torque, 10-speed automatic transmission. It'll tow up to 8,200 pounds.
Without any struggle.
None. City, 14 miles per gallon. Highway, 18 miles per gallon for a combined of 16. I got 16.5 over 368.1 miles. What I liked about it, plenty of power. What could use improvement? Weight reduction. It's 18 feet long and weighs 5,635.0 pounds. That's a lot, brother.
Yep.
You know, cars, 3,000 to 3,500 pounds. This is almost twice the weight of a car. What I liked about the handling, the ride, the smoothness of that air suspension. Don't touch it. It's wonderful. Base trim price, $113,695. Prices tested, $121,315. Base model price, this is kind of surprising, $79,295.
Yep.
Go try to find one of those. You're not going to find it. Competitors, Land Rover Range Rover Sport, $85,075. BMW X7, $81,900. The Mercedes-Benz GLS, $87,000. Just to throw this out there, the Chevy Suburban High Country, which is the top of the line, starts at $81,895. That's a lot.
It's a lot.
You said air suspension. This has got the electromagnetic ride, correct?
No, this is air suspension.
This is air suspension.
Yeah, yeah. They're that's available. So just thought I'd throw that out there. All right, that's the review of the Cadillac Escalade. In Wheel Time Car Talk Show is available 24/7 through the iHeartRadio app. Just look for In Wheel Time Car Talk. We also video stream on Facebook, YouTube, and InWheelTime.com. Podcasts available from your favorite podcast provider. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show continues after this quick break.
Rev your engines and set sail for the ultimate surf and turf. The Houston Automotive Show, January 24th through the 28th at NRG Center. One ticket gets you into both the auto show and the boat show. See your favorite car and boat brands under one roof. Learn about the latest electric vehicles and test drive one with Evolve Houston. Board your dream boat and check out the bass fishing demos. It's the Houston Automotive Show, January 24th through the 28th. Buy early and save at automotiveshow.com.
That's it for this podcast episode of the In Wheel Time Car Show. I'm Don Armstrong, inviting you to join us for our live show every Saturday morning, 8 to 11 a.m. Central on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and our InWheelTime.com website. Podcasts are available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeart Podcast, Podcast Addict, TuneIn, Pandora, and Amazon Music. Keep listening, and we'll see you soon.